This game is called What's My Pet? There are 24 cards in the set, 8 jobs, 8 animals that are going to be pets, and 8 places where these pets are kept. The objective of the game is quite simple. It's to figure out which person has which pet, and there is only one person and one pet for each round of the game. A round is fairly quick, depending on how quickly you make your decisions. So all of these 8, they kept separately in the beginning of the game. So if you're starting the game, you need to separate them. They are mixed up, and then you remove one of the job cards. I'm going to show it to you just for the sake of explaining the game. In this case, it's the journalist. That gets placed aside. You do the same thing with the pet, so in this case an insect, and you do the same thing with the place. In this case, we have the dining room. These 3 cards can be placed in either an envelope or somewhere where nobody knows what they are. And the rest of the cards are now distributed amongst the players. And you can now, I mean, once you've dealt, for example, let's say you have 3 players, you deal out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 1 card left. Deal that card to this person, and then just start dealing from here. Every person would have a few job cards, a few animal cards, and a few place cards. With this, you also get a checklist like the one you can see on the screen right now. With that checklist, you're going to ask questions. You've got the cards. Let me just finish dealing a few, just as an example. I'm going to have the cards that I'm going to use to guess what that card is. If you end up with an odd number of cards, just place the last few, 1 or 2 cards open so everybody would know what they are. Now, I look at what I have, and I'm going to now start guessing what is here. So I know it's not a photographer, an engineer, or an actor. I can guess what I want, but the objective with my guesses would be to find out what is here. So in this case, I look at my list and I see I don't have a mechanic. So I'm going to say the mechanic is my first guess. I don't see an insect, and I don't see a living room. So I'm going to say the mechanic has an insect in the living room. Now, the next person looks at their cards, and if they have one of those things, in this case, they have the mechanic, they're not going to show the mechanic to everybody. They're going to move the cards towards me. I'm going to look at mechanic, so I know it's a mechanic. I'm going to give them the card back, and now I can tick off mechanic. I know my guess was wrong. And the turn then moves to the next person. It keeps going around until, if the turn has gone completely around, nobody has shown me a card, I can go, okay, that is what's in the envelope, what's to the side. I don't have to do it because I might not be certain. However, if, for example, let's just have a journalist, insect, and dining room. If I say the mechanic has an insect in the dining room. Now, this person has mechanic, and all of the other, they cannot have any of the other cards. If the turn passes them, so they're not showing me mechanic, and it comes to me and I go, okay, I'm certain it's mechanic, insect, and dining room. And I turn it over and I'm wrong. The person who has mechanic loses the game. But if I'm right and I say journalist, insect, and dining room, I win the game. Okay. The photographer has a snail in the bathroom. The photographer has a snail in the bathroom. All right, Johnny doesn't have photographer, snail, or bathroom. Do you have it? Just look in your cards. Do you have photographer, snail, or bathroom? If you have one, just say yes, you have one.
Snail.
Oh, don't say it. Put it on the table, give it to me. So only I can see it. All right, now it's Johnny's turn.
The mechanic is in the basement with his camel.
Mechanic is in the basement with his camel.
So then we have mechanic, and then you have mechanic basement.
No, wait for him to finish.
No.
Okay, your turn.
The artist and the butterfly is in the dining room.
The artist and the butterfly in the dining room. Artist, butterfly, dining room. You don't have that?
Butterflies. Mechanic is in the bathroom.
Butterfly, the mechanic gets a butterfly in the bathroom. The photographer has a polar bear in the bathroom.
The photographer has a swan in the garden. Photographer swan in the garden? No?
The insect and the
Photographers?
photographer and the hole.
He's in the hole. Insect and photographer in the hole. No. No.
I don't have any of those.
Your time.
Should we see what they are?
You ready?